Hi, welcome to another program. Nowadays, everybody in Turkey is talking about how we can make a deal in order to buy some new planes, maybe from Russia. But I do not share the same enthusiasm with those people, and I believe that Turkey's decision will be much more on realistic terms, and there are a lot of reasons for that. If you are going to buy Russian military systems, you have to change all your systems, and this means additional cost to your already problematic economy. I don't believe that Turkey has the capacity and the room to bear all these costs. Therefore, I do not believe that Turkey is going to buy really advanced technological military equipments, including and not least vehicles, electronic combat military equipment, planes, or anything about navy vehicles. The S-400 will be at all, and it's going to be almost the end. If we are going to buy, we can only buy a couple of these, and that will be only, I will consider like a threat. But this is a political maneuver thing, so that's not the real thing. And that's why Turkey is going to do something much more unexpected, and it should be doing, because if we are now following all the timelines, which I'm going to follow now, I'm going to count them, tell them. I believe that Turkey's unexpected route goes to a much more closer cooperation, especially with Japan and South Korea. And I am expecting within 5 years Turkey is going to really start investing its relationship with Japan especially. And we are going to, but for that at first Turkey has to declare one important aspect of its security, and I will call this as a doctrine. I don't know how we are going to name it, but we have to declare it, because both South Korea and Japan really relies on the energy and the energy safety of the energy routes. And if Turkey is going to contribute that mainly and majorly, then they might have the leverage to talk further with Japan and South Korea, which is going to be mutual, by the way. And that's why we want to talk about this issue with you this week. And we will name it as Turkey-Japan Sea Doctrine of Turkey and Technology Assessment. Let's see. Let's talk about this now. Now, as you know, after the coup, there had been some events which bears to a very fruitful relation between Russia and Turkey has then purchased S-400 missile systems, which Turkey hasn't got any up to date. Now they have been deployed to Turkey after some tests and launching and other systems to be set up. We are expecting by end of September, October it will be in operation. I don't think that Turkey only, and we are always discussing and we will be discussing that Turkey hasn't procured these systems because we really need them. I don't believe that the United States is a big threat to Turkey. I think we buy them because we want to understand the technology behind this, so that we can transfer these ideas and systems to our national or local air defense systems, which we really intend to produce. Therefore, we bought them especially, but nobody talks about this. I don't know why, but I am sure that we are going to see this in future. So, the other thing that I have really recognized, because we have been denied by Obama administration to buy the Patriots, and then we had to look or sought for another resource, which at first it was China, then it became Russia. There had been another event that occurred at the same time, or a couple of events. One of them is the engine of the tank. We call this, we name it Altay tank. And Altay tank is very important to Turkish land forces. It will be one of the major components of our strength. But the problem with this development of the tank is nothing more than engine at this moment. The tank is very heavy. It needs a big engine, and I will, as far as we make some research about it, we need 11 to 1200 horsepower for that. But at this moment, with our own national capacity, we can produce something around 600-ish. Of course, if I am wrong, please correct me. And we thought that maybe we can put two, one for the trawlers, one for the gunny area. But however, it doesn't work because there is no room for the soldiers inside, and also it's not effective. So we need to produce this. We went to Ukraine to produce this with joint venture company. It has been declined, then to Belgium, then to other companies. Now it has been declined. Now we turned inside the local resources, and we said we are going to produce this with our own resources. On the other hand, we want to also produce a Air Force, a plane, air fighter, our own one, which it can also land on the landing dock, which we are now producing in Turkey. Its name is Anadolu, which means Anatolia. And after that, the trachea is going to be also under manufacture shortly. So it will be two. So they can also land vertical, and they can take off also vertical. But the problem is that we cannot do the engine. We have some problems over there. So since we have felt the problem, we tried to at first go to United States, but they declined to cooperate with us because of the technological transfer. They think it shouldn't be given to Turkey. Then we went to UK in 2018. We cut a deal for 100,000 or 1 million man-hour of agreement. And BAE was supposed to be taking cooperation with us, but in May 2019, BAE announced that they ended up there or terminated the contract due to the intellectual property right, which Turkey demands it should be ours, which means that European Union, including United Kingdom plus the United States of America, declined to transfer the technology to us, although we want to work together. So since this happens, I believe that this is not going to be solved quickly or at all at the moment with these all recent developments. Turkey has to look somewhere else where technology is advanced, and this is only the Asian market, which we think it will be. Therefore, everybody might think that Turkey is now like this, like that, and China is also growing, and Turkey and China is going to come up together. No, we will not at all, because Turkey's growing power means, and as I said, we should also at first protect the interests of some countries over there, which are going to be at first Japan and South Korea, because China wants to build their own navy. They want to be strong over there, and they want to protect the route from the Hormuz Strait, even the Red Sea to any port within the Chinese shoreline. That means that China doesn't need Turkey to be in the area, but Turkey needs to be in the area to establish the security parameters of the oil and gas routes to Japan and South Korea, so we can say, look, we are doing this, so in return we can work together on some industrial areas or development of technology. That's why at first Turkey has to declare a doctrine of sea, which is not going to cover on the Mediterranean Sea or the Black Sea, but it should also cover the Hormuz Strait security, the Red Sea security, the Persian Gulf security, the Indian Sea security, and even the Chinese Sea security to some levels. Of those that Turkey deemed to be friends with Japan and South Korea. So for those, Turkey has to consider a broad meaning of sea doctrine, where in 1870s, United States has declared sea doctrine with Alfred Mahon, to protect the United States interests, or especially the commerce interests on the sea, the seaborne commerce. So any United States ship, commerce ship with a United States flag on it, should be protected by a United States Navy due to the economic interest. But Turkey can not only do this for the Turkish flags, but we should be doing with this our allies, which is supposed to be also Japan and South Korea. So in order to do that, we have to start developing, and I'm expecting this, a new sea doctrine that will cover not only the Mediterranean, the East Mediterranean or the Black Sea, but also all these sea that I have already mentioned. And then once we are going to establish the security in the sea routes for the ships that are allies to us, then only the transfer of technology might commence. And that's why I am expecting by 4 years or 3 years from now on that Turkey is going to declare a very broad doctrine of sea, and it should be taking place if we want to have this, because we cannot go to now United States or European Union to attract the technology, and there's only a couple of countries that have this kind of technology, and one of them, and the most important I believe, is Japan. And why not Korea or China? Because as I said, if it's going to be China even wants to implement its own security parameters with its own force. So China doesn't need Turkey for that. But South Korea and Japan, yes, might be. But South Korea has a limitation because the North Koreans is a great threat to them, and they need the United States soldiers and the Navy, especially the Navy over there, at all time. But Turkey is not in a position to deploy the soldiers all time over there to help or to live in South Korea. Therefore, I always think that Turkey's best option is with Japan. And why? Because Japan wants to also increase the navy, and it wants to also try to guarantee its safety of its oil and gas routes from Middle East countries to Japan, because they need it, they have to have it. So Turkey might come handy in that regard, while the navy will be, with their own navy, will be around China or around Japan in order to protect the country. Turkish Navy might help them to secure the oil and gas routes from Middle East to Japan, and then we might be maybe starting talking with Japan about transfer of technology. This is at this moment like a projection for us. I know it's for the first time I changed the concept of it, but I believe it is very important to start understanding that Russia is not going to be the military supplier of Turkey due to the costs problem. We don't have the room to accommodate such costs on top of our economic crisis. However, we have the opportunity to attract the technology from Japan and from South Korea, which is more or less the nearest to ours. They are much more advanced, I have to admit also. But that will add less cost to our economy. Therefore, with the landing dock, which is like a air carrier, Anadolu and Trakya in 2024 or 25 at most, this will make sense to this new sea doctrine, because we can have the ships and the soldiers on the ship 24/7 in the areas of Aden Gulf or Indian Ocean, Gulf, Hormuz or Red Sea, to protect the routes from the dangers for the ships with the flags of Turkey or South Korea, Japan, I will say with the allies of Turkey and the friends of Turkey. Therefore, this will make more sense to Turkey in terms of accessing or attracting the technology from the advanced countries. That will be our projection, and we will see what will happen. I mean, maybe not in 3 to 4 years, but even maybe 6, 7, 8 years. But that's going to happen. The sea doctrine should be happening, and then the more close relations between Turkey and South Korea and Turkey and Japan will start. And especially I would like to draw your attention to Japanese and Turkish relations. I think this is the core development that we should be taking account. We will see. If you like this video, please, there's a like button underneath the screen, press on it, and we will be happy if you would mind to get subscribers to our channel so you can hear and get a notification of our latest videos. Thank you for watching the video and have a great day. Bye.